Take me to the moon. I wanna be with the stars. Set me into orbit.
Yeah, she said she never been in love. All she ever did was give her love. Everyone, they only take a love. So you scared of love, I don't blame you, love. Let me be the one to show you love. That need somebody just to hold you, love. That show you off like a trophy, love. Can I be your one and only love?
Take me to the moon.
I just wanna be
With the stars.
I think you're the one. Girl, you shouldn't be so scared to fall in love. Yeah, let me love you, show me how. Lift me up, I'll hold you down. My love is rare, I know you need it. I know you crave it, I know you fiend it. It's not your shape, not your size, not your curves, not your thighs, not your lips, not your eyes. It's your soul and everything inside that makes me feel the way I feel. My love for you was always real. Early mornings, late at nights, we'll never sleep. Let me stay tonight, my love for you will never fades. My love for you it never dies. You take me to another place. Just because you breathing on me, you a lie. She said she never been in love. All she ever did was give her love. Everyone, they only take a love. So you scared of love, I don't blame you, love. Let me be the one to show you love. That need somebody just to hold you, love. That show you off like a trophy, love. Can I be your one and only love?
Take me to the moon.
I just wanna be
With the stars.
I think you're the one. Girl, you shouldn't be so scared to fall in love. Yeah, take me far, far away. Find a place, we'll find a way. Don't let me leave, just tell me stay. And tell me everything you wanna say. My love for you is like a rose that never dies, but only grows. You pushed away, I held you close. Baby, you an angel, heaven knows. Broken hearts, broken dreams, broken trust, and broken wings. I know you hurt, but let me fix it. Show me every scar and let me kiss it. We follow dreams, they take us far. To the moon, to the stars. All we want, the world is ours. Through all the pain and all the scars. The world is mine, what's mine is yours. Your love is true, your heart is pure. Always ready, but never sure. When I get lonely, baby, you the cure. My love for you, it never fades. My love for you, it never dies. I never wanna drift away, cause I was never good at goodbyes. I think never been in love. All she ever did was give her love. Everyone, they only take a love. So you scared of love, I don't blame you, love. Let me be the one to show you love. That need somebody just to hold you, love. That show you off like a trophy, love. Can I be your one and only love?
Take me to the moon.
I just wanna be
With the stars.
I think you're the one. Girl, you shouldn't be so scared to fall in love.
Take me to the moon. I wanna be with the stars. Set me into orbit. I wanna be, yeah, to the moon. I wanna be.
Hey, how y'all doing this evening? This is AMPspirationTTV, and I am your host, the Plump Queen. Well, it is Monday, Moon Day, first day of the week, and of course, you know, I appreciate you all giving me your time and your energy. Make sure you hit that share button, guys. Share, because you know we have to make Ampspiration go viral. All right, so today's topic, it's been, I guess, mowing around in my brain. Well, things have been coming to me, and which is why I feel like I should talk about this. I had a couple of people that have reached out to me. You know, I always let people know, you know, on my platform that if you ever need to talk, if you ever need someone to give you an ear, you know, some advice, whatever, you know, I'm here. You know, there's a lot of people out there that, you know, feel like they don't have anyone, and, you know, they're seeking some type of guidance, some type of way. And I may not have all the answers, but maybe, you know, my perspective or my experience or something that I've seen or heard or been through, you know, can help you make, you know, the right decision for yourself. So I've had a few people to come to me about this, so I feel like I should speak on it. So the topic, sex is marriage. In my short life and stint on this earth, I have come to feel, it's my opinion, that this is true. For me, sex is marriage. Now I understand, and so, in this country, you have legalities and, there are things that go along with that. So I'm not negating that. I also don't want anyone to think that I'm against marriage or people who are in that. I personally feel like what marriage is supposed to be, what marriage, was, made or actually created for, is what we need. But the way it's gone about, the way it is practiced, and what it stands for now is what I would say problem, or what I don't agree with, I'll say. So I'll go through some statistics. I told y'all I'm going to be having some facts and things of that nature to go along, with my perspective. So just looking at the stats of marriage compared, that I was looking at some stats were between, of course, black, Hispanics, and white people. So, and 45% of the homes in America, that are married are black. Hispanic is 70%, and white homes is 80%. Now, according to this same statistic place that I got this from, they said that 28% of, I say us, meaning black people, with little or no education are married, compared to 55% minimum that have minimum college education. So pretty much what they're trying to say, from what I was reading on this particular article, is that education is the issue, and why marriage isn't, is one of the factors on why marriage has declined, during statistics. Now, for me, I felt like that didn't make sense to me. Because when you think about back in the days, like I'll even say like in the 30s, the 40s, and the 50s, we in particular weren't educated. As a matter of fact, we weren't really allowed to be educated. And when we were allowed to learn something, it was mediocre. Our books, our schools, none of that was up to par compared, to our white counterparts. But back then, marriage was on an all-time high. Back then, the home, most families, regardless of what your educational status was, y'all need to know how to do that. What I've noticed is, as, the years have gone by, that has changed. And it has really nothing to do with education. It has to do with the way that we relate to one another. This all goes back to what I'm always talking about, with unifying and how we see one another as a whole. Back in the days, we felt like it was a village. Village raised children. Everyone felt like they were responsible, for one another. So we chose the people that we wanted to be with. It wasn't a forced thing. It wasn't about simply a come up. You didn't really get married to somebody, at least in our community, for that specific reason. You had a family, I was in the neighborhood, it was all about attraction. You had a group of people in your neighborhood. You guys related to one another. You had, good families. You loved, you went to high school together, junior high school. You grew up with one another. You knew each other's families. And then you got together and did that. But before it was even an attraction thing, just as children, as family, we all cared about each other. You see what I'm saying? So that in itself, you made a different choice. It was actually a choice that you wanted. Now, everybody has a right, to their spirituality, and how they do things. But, religion absolutely plays a part in this situation as well. There are a lot of people who are married right now simply because, they got pregnant. They were fornicating. And according to their religion, once you have a baby, you're supposed to be married. You're not supposed to have children out of wedlock. That is a common practice. And I understand that, but the biggest issue with it is You don't want to have a baby out of wedlock, but yet you fornicate. And see, fornicating is just as bad as having a baby out of wedlock. So you see, picking and choosing which laws that you want to follow is an issue. Not so much what your rules are, is how you're following them. See, if you weren't fornicating, there would be no babies out of wedlock if you weren't having sex prior to that. Again, your laws. So we have to start being accountable for our actions. This is something that I've been talking about a lot as well. We make decisions, we have to make better decisions before, babies come into play, before you make that ultimate commitment. Because marriage is an ultimate commitment. You're speaking about being with this person. You are telling your God or whomever that you are going to be, cohabitate, and be with this person for the extent of your life. However long that is. So that's between, I'm going to say, 50 and 80 years. That, you're supposed to, well, you normally, let's say you start at 20, let's say you start at 18. Some people, got married out of high school. So between 18 till you're about 50, 60 years old, you're supposed to be with the same person. Now, we all know, I would hope, that you're not the same person at 18 that you are at 25, that you are at 30, that you are at 40. So how can you stay together and still, and still maintain that energy as you guys change? How does that work? And that piece of paper ain't it. That piece of paper does not make you, cherish, love, and respect, your spouse or the person that you've chosen to be with. That is a choice. That is a conscientious choice. An emotional choice. That's why you have people that can be together for years. I know people in relationships, 10, 15-year relationships. I'm in one of them. You can be in a relationship that long, without that piece of paper and be loyal. Every relationship has problems, but that piece of paper is not what makes you stay. It's not what makes you happy. It's not what makes that bond. It's an actual bond. And where do you get this bond from? Sex is one of those things. Sex is the ultimate bonding experience. You're like men, you're literally inside of us. We don't think like that. We have a very corrupted perspective on sex. We really think that it's just some willy-nilly, pleasure thing to do, something that we could just do to pass the time so we could feel good, something to do, when we're not feeling the best so it can make us feel happy, or something to do to control another person or whatever. We're not looking at it in the proper form. Like this act creates life. Like, don't y'all understand that is more of a connection, more of, more of a union than actually getting married. You can't get no closer than that. You just added your DNA with this person's DNA and made a whole human being. You're connected to that person forever. Literally. Through your child. But yet we don't see it that way. We'll be quick to, to either get pregnant or get a female pregnant, but slow to make that commitment. That's backwards. If you truly don't want to be connected to somebody forever, then you shouldn't have children with them. You can get a divorce. You can get an annulment. You know what I'm saying? I was looking up, different words. What, annulment means, is a legal procedure that declares your marriage null and void, like it never happened. And you can go on about your business, do whatever it is that you want to do. But when you have sex with somebody and have a baby, that person's in your life forever. It doesn't matter how you feel about that person. It doesn't matter what changed amongst y'all. You are forever connected by another human being. We need to start looking at it like that. If you saw sex as marriage, you wouldn't be so quick to have sex. Think about that. Just like you're not quick to get married, if you switch that up, you wouldn't just be having willy-nilly sex. You would be more selective in who you lay down with. If you understood that is energy. When you're with somebody, and the funny part is where you feel that. During sex, when you're around a person that you truly love, you can feel them. You know what I'm saying? Have you ever had an experience where you were apart from the person that you was in love with? Y'all was in completely different states, but you just felt like you can feel them or hear them calling you or something like that? Have anyone ever had that experience? I know I have. So it doesn't matter if y'all are in the same space or if y'all are miles apart. You have a bond now. You have this, it's almost like an etheric connection. Especially when, if you're having sex, especially if you're doing it raw. And you're literally exchanging. Y'all don't understand just how powerful and real that is. So every time you have sex with somebody, you are creating a bond, whether you want to or not. This is why women get attached. This is why as soon as you get them to D, they're hanging on to you. Y'all understand? Y'all are literally inside us. There's no closer you can be. So we need to start thinking differently about that. This is why we have so many divorces, because people are getting with the wrong people. Because you're going strictly, you're making all of these connections with the wrong folks. That's another thing. Don't you know when you are in a relationship with somebody for a long time and y'all break up, you need to detox yourself. It's almost like a drug. You can be intoxicated with someone. Again, you're around them all the time. Every day you sleep together, you wake up together. Again, while you're having sex, you're exchanging juices. When you kiss, you exchange saliva. You're just mixing your DNA the longer you're with each other. Why do you think have you ever seen old couples that start to look like brother and sisters? I'm sure you've seen it. That's because they've been mixing their DNA for years. Start looking like each other. You have to understand you have to understand that, and then you'll make better choices. So then you won't get divorced. If you start off right, you'll end up right. See, the issue is not, because I don't want people to think that I'm telling you, to break up your home, and like if you're not happy and things of that nature. That's not what I'm saying. Like, I actually have a different, perspective on what a broken home is. Like, for me, I don't feel like I came from a broken home. Because my household, as dysfunctional as it was living in the projects, it was a village. I lived with my grandfather, three of my aunts, and my mom. So even though my dad wasn't a part of the situation, I had, positive male role models, even though in other ways they weren't for me in my universe and how they related to me. I'm saying I had strong connections with masculine and divine energy. Well, feminine energy, not just divine energy. So I had several people in my home taking care of me, watching over me. So my father's absence, you know what I'm saying, honestly, was out of sight, out of mind. And I've told you several times that, you know, my father is is a borderline schizophrenic. You know, my mom didn't make the right choice, you know what I'm saying, in the person, you know, to have a baby with. So to be quite honest, him not being around me on a regular basis might have been the best thing for me, especially dealing with this. Me losing my arm, you know what I'm saying, taught me that. Because again, like I said, my father is a borderline schizophrenic. I have serious mental issues on that side of my family, and yet I am sane after something like this. So I wasn't connected to that DNA growing up. So it didn't register in me. And not to say that it's not there, which is why, you know, keeping myself balanced and, you know, doing whatever it is that I need to do to stay, to have self, you know what I'm saying, intact is important. Because I'm aware of that. Now, it's never shown up, I can promise you. I'm saying. But you just never know. Because my daddy ain't all right up here. But that's a choice that my mom made. Luckily, again, the universe said it so that he wasn't around me. But in my household, like again, it was dysfunctional. I actually grew up with functional crackheads. But it didn't affect, for whatever reason, it didn't affect me in that light. I just knew I had a village of people. I knew I had somebody that was going to be there for me, someone to go to for something. I knew I was protected and all of those things. Then my mom got into another relationship. She's still in it. You know what I'm saying? For me, that wasn't, you know what I'm saying, the best situation either. But even in that situation, I still had a village situation. I still had another male that was there that was going to help and take care of me in some form of a fashion. You know what I'm saying? The job that my mom had, it was a village situation. This is what we need. We tend to think that, you know, we have to do everything by ourselves. You know, my mentor was talking about this earlier, you know, about single mothers and, you know, feeling like that's a great thing. It's not to say to take, you know what I'm saying, your accomplishment, that the fact that you stepped up and did what you were supposed to do as a mom. But that's really not cool. It's not having, you know, support, because it's needed. That, you know what I'm saying, that's a big issue. If we all as a community, again, stick together, care about one another, this wouldn't be an issue. Our children, regardless, you know what I'm saying, of, you know, the mistakes or, you know, decisions that we make in relationships, wouldn't affect them negatively. Because again, people change. This is another thing, a reason why I'm, you know, I'm flexible where it comes to the whole matter. Like, I am not the same, you know, person I was when I was 25 years old. I don't think the same. I've been through some shit. You know what I mean? I've experienced other things. So I'm not the same. So what if, you know, the person that I'm with, you know, whoever it is that I'm changing to, doesn't suit, you know what I'm saying, his life or his energy anymore? Should I make him, because we've been together for a whole decade, should I make him, or, you know what I'm saying, stay with me simply because we've had that time when we are no longer, you know what I'm saying, servicing each other anymore? Like, we're not possessions. You don't possess anybody. Your children are not your possessions. Your significant others are not your possessions. Again, being together is a choice. No one should have to make you be with somebody, because that's what people tend to think. You know, okay, once I got these papers on you, you know what I'm saying, you're mine, and there's nothing you can do. No, that's not how that is. We're energy, period. And energy is not destroyed, it just transforms. That's it. So if we thought differently about this, life would be a whole lot better. People, you know what I'm saying? Like they say, you know, a man's gonna be where he wants to be. You can't keep nobody where they don't want to be. Again. And another thing, from a woman's point, I don't want to be with nobody that doesn't want to be with me. I don't care how long I've been with them. I need this, and I need us to be here. Whoever I'm with. Right. We need a strong foundation to build together, and it starts from home. It absolutely does. But it starts with the decision that we make from dip before you get, you know what I'm saying, to the marriage and to the babies. You have to. Yes, you have to go within. Absolutely. Absolutely. This is how you make better choices. Again, if we saw our bodies, you know, like women, if we saw our bodies as the temples that they truly are, if we saw our wombs, you know what I'm saying, as the actual portal between the spirit, you know what I'm saying, and the physical world, you wouldn't just be laying down and having babies with anybody. You would choose wisely. You know what I'm saying? You would make a better choice. You wouldn't even lay down knowing how your feelings are going to be. This is why this is a year of accountability. Because as women, we already know how emotional we are. We already know that as soon as we get attached to somebody, that's all we want. We know that's how we are. So why put ourselves in this situation when you know you're going to get attached? And men, you're accountable too. You know how we are. You know we're emotional. You know as soon as you lay it down the way we need it to be laid down, you already know that's how we are. So why are we playing this game with one another? Why? It's not doing us any good, and it's, again, breaking up our homes and our families and our community as a whole. We have to start thinking better. And again, I just read some stats they talk about. It has nothing to do, honestly, with your educational level or none of that. It's common sense. You know what stuff feels like. You know what it feels. You know what I'm saying? You know when something feels wrong. You know you don't want someone to do certain things to you. So why would you reciprocate that? Being selfish. Thinking about, you know what I'm saying, yourself in a conceited in a manner. Instead of getting actual self together so you can be an individual, a positive individual or a piece to the whole. We got to change how we think. Surface level stuff. This ain't even deep. Like, you know what I mean? I be looking at people, you know, talking about all this magical shit, like basics, little stuff like this. A word that I was looking up, trying to, you know, get some, I guess some more perspective on what I'm saying. So the word consummate came up. I was watching this movie. It's actually a movie that I really like. It's called The Boleyn Girls. It's supposed to be the story or the backstory on how England, you know, separated from the Catholic Church. So you had I forgot which king it was, King Arthur, one of them or whatever. So he was married to a Spanish woman. That was his wife. You know, they had children. They had one daughter, but of course back in those days it was all about the heir. You needed a son. So if you didn't give, you know what I'm saying, your husband a son, you know, it was a problem, especially as a king. You know, they felt like a woman couldn't run a country. They would be overthrown by other people because they wouldn't respect them because a woman was on the throne. So having a son was important. Well, of course, his wife couldn't give him one because he was stressing her out about having this son. Something else that, you know, guys need to understand. Stress is it will be the biggest thing to stop you from getting exactly what you want when you're stressing the body out. Another story, though. So, of course, he still wants a son, regardless. So, of course, he went and found somebody else to sleep with so he can potentially have this son. So the way the situation went, even if he got this son from another person, that son would be a bastard, because technically, it's illegitimate because it wasn't by his wife. So one of the suitors, one of the women that was trying to, shoot her shot and be the one to give that baby to him so she can have her status, she pretty much tried to tell him, well, you need to get divorced from your wife and then make me your queen. So then any child that I give you, will be legitimate. So he was going to do this, but he needed to make sure that if he was going to replace his wife, the person that he was replacing her with, was above reproach. Well, see, this girl, she was all about status. She was trying her very best, because back then, who you married, pretty much was your worth. So who you married pretty much dictated who you were as a person, period. So she tried to go on and marry and have sex with a duke, somebody in high ranks in the government, situation back then. But she wasn't supposed to do that, because people in officer positions, they have to be what's the word I'm looking for? They had an arranged marriage. See, people like that in the higher ups, they had to be arranged. They weren't allowed to find their own person because of their status. So he was already betrothed to someone else, but he was in love with her. He was watching her the whole time, and she used that to her advantage. Long story short, they had sex. So since they had sex, they consummated their marriage. That's what made their marriage liable. Not that they stood in front of the, secretly went off and, had a priest and all that. It was because they actually had sex that made it a problem. So when he found out about it, he killed her. Like, that's how that went. Because he completely changed his religion, because by him divorcing his wife, that separated him from the Catholic Church, because that's how their religion works. But it was the sex. Not even that she kissed him or went off and, said the I do's and none of that. It was the consummation of that made that a problem. Because even back then they knew, or at least they felt, that it was the sex that made that marriage valid. Not them choosing it, not even the priest ordaining it. Them coming together sexually is what made what locked that in. So they knew. Because again, like I said, you can't get any closer to your partner than when you're having sex. Guys, you are literally inside us. It also creates babies with emotional problems, looking for love in the wrong places, is fill those voids only to find out later on that the void can only be filled by self. Exactly, Jennifer. That is exactly right. Self will eliminate all of these issues. It'll help you make better choices. Because when you know yourself, when you understand who you are, how important you are, and I don't even want to use that word, the power that you possess, you wouldn't do certain things. It's just like, it's just like rich folk. Once you get a certain status, there's certain things you don't do. Not everybody gets to be around you. Not everybody gets to have access to you. You know what I'm saying? Because of your status. You need to feel that way about your body. You need to feel that way when you're choosing someone to be with. Because remember, this is someone who is applying for the job to love you forever. This person is applying for the job to be the potential mother or father of your children. The person that's supposed to balance you out when you off. Relationships are never 50-50. Sometimes it's 80-20. Sometimes it's 70-30. Sometimes it's 60-40. It depends on what's going on. And you need to pick the right person to make sure they can pick up them pieces. And you need to be the right person to pick up the slack when they need it. You're a team. That's how you're supposed to see this. That piece of paper does not do that. That is something that you have to feel. That is something that you and that person make the conscientious decision to do. Like if I never get married, I'm good. There's no way the person that I've been with, you know what I'm saying, is not going to make sure I'm okay. Doesn't matter. If me and this person decides, you know what I'm saying, to change, if for whatever reason we want to change our situation, I'm good. He's good. That's the type of relationship, you know what I'm saying, you're supposed to have. You know what I'm saying? That's true love. When you really love somebody, you love them with you. You want them to be happy, with or without you. You want their happiness. And if you're not giving them happiness, then you eliminate it. That's what real love is. It's not selfish. Love is a service. I say that all the time. It is a service. So if you're getting into a relationship or getting into a marriage, thinking what you're going to get out of it, which most marriages are based on. Most people get married now because of what they're going to get out of it. It has nothing to do with how y'all really relate to one another. He has a good job. He has this, she has these degrees. He has this business. He got good hair. You know what I'm saying? That's why a lot of people get married. I have several friends right now, miserable. Because they decided, you know what I'm saying, to be with somebody for the come up. Had nothing to do. And not to say that the person that they with isn't a good woman or a good man. They just don't connect where it counts. So it doesn't matter. Like I tell people all the time, that's why it doesn't matter who you are. Like, I'm a good woman. Every relationship that I've been in, you know what I'm saying, not to say that I don't have my faults, but it, you know what I'm saying, I didn't do anything. You know what I mean? They can tell you. You can ask any of my exes. I wasn't the problem. Because I came into the situation as a service. I wanted to love them. I wanted to give all that I... You know what I'm saying? Like, here's me. Take it. All yours. You know what I'm saying? But once that went away, it's just like, alright, I got to... Yeah, you're not really... And I appreciate that now. Because it was cool. They had to teach me something, but they really wasn't... That really wasn't my vibe. Wasn't supposed to be there. And I'm glad that I didn't stress it. Because of a lot of time, like, I was with somebody when I lost my arm. They left me. Went off, married somebody else, had a baby, all that. They're miserable. Miserable. Hate the situation that they're in. I dodged a bullet. Big time. I don't want to be with nobody that doesn't need to be. No tears. Whoever just put that tears up, don't even do it. I want a heart for that. You have to understand. This is what I mean by not feeling like people are possessions, or not feeling like, you know, just because you've been with somebody and it doesn't work, you know, that life is over. No. I was supposed to be with him for that season. He taught me some things. You know what I'm saying? It was cool. He was a step up from my first boyfriend. I'll give him that. You know what I'm saying? At least he could keep a job. My last boyfriend couldn't do that. The first one, he couldn't even do that. I had to pay for everything. You know what I'm saying? Like, I learned a lot from that situation, especially now. Like, after I lost my arm, I just knew that we was going to get back together. I was like, oh, yeah, Now that I got my disability, I'm gonna have this disability popping. We good. We ain't got to worry about no bread and none of that. Like, I was all for it. I was ready. You know what I'm saying, to make that work. But that wasn't his agenda. He was with me because of what I can do for him. And now that backfired on him. I'm good over here. Okay, you know what I'm saying? I get to live my life. You know what I'm saying? I kind of have the best of both worlds. I get to travel the world and do things, and you know, I have my solitude, you know what I'm saying? But then I got my duality as well. And I'm happy. I don't have everything. You know what I'm saying? I don't, you know what I'm saying? I'm not where I want to be in life. But where I am, I'm happy. And that's what matters to me. My relationships, they need to be authentic. It doesn't matter who it is, how we relate to one another. I need that to be authentic. That's what I need. Like I said, I don't want to be with nobody that don't want to be with me. I do not want to lay next to somebody every night and they're thinking and they're vibing and they're somewhere else. Because this is just your physical body. Who you truly are is inside your soul, your mind, and your spirit. And that can be completely somewhere else. I don't want to be that person. I'd rather be with self. I'd rather just love on myself than than to be faking the funk. That's not good for nobody. It ain't good for your kids either. This is another thing. People assume that, you not being with the person you had a baby with means, you know what I'm saying, that you're not supposed to be in a child. See, that's the problem. Take care of your kids. You know what I'm saying? Be happy. Be your best self. Be the best individual for them. Because they're watching you. They're not listening to what you're saying. They're watching you. You are teaching your children how to be. How to relate. So if mommy and daddy need to be with other people so you can show them what happiness looks like, then that's what you need to do. But figure it out. If you're in that situation. But you have to, if you start from the root, if you ain't got kids, like me, that's how I'm going to handle that situation. Like, if I don't have children in the relationship that I'm in, first of all, if I'm not in this relationship, I'm going, like I said earlier, I'm going to have to detox from this person. Because I've been with them for years. Again, we've been exchanging DNA. Our energies have been meshing around and around for all of this time. When you really love somebody and you're really connected, that just does not go away. It doesn't. So I would have to literally detox myself from him before I even thought about talking to someone else. Then I'm not going to make the same mistakes. Not to say that I made a mistake where he was concerned, but I'm not going to handle that situation the same way either. Because like I said, sex is marriage. So anybody I have sex with is my husband. So if you not husband material, I'm not having sex with you. Period. We got to start thinking like that. See, we have the mentality, to get over one man, you got to get under another one. Nah, this is why relationships fucked up. Because you are bringing that energy from another relationship into your new one. You still got that nigga inside you, whether you think so or not. And you're bringing that energy somewhere else. And then you're adding another energy to it. The energies may not match. You gotta start thinking like that, man. Sex is way, way deeper than you busting a nut. It really, really is. And if we start thinking that way, we won't have these problems. Now, a woman, what really, really sparked this topic was someone inboxed me about their situation. I do not know this woman at all. She's definitely older than me. She has children. You know what I'm saying? And and from the conversation I had, the energy that I got from her, she's a very good woman. but she's miserable. Miserable. And she wants to leave her situation, and she feels like that she can't because of technicalities and obligations. So, like I told her, I can't tell nobody what to do about their relationship. That I can't tell you what's right for you. I only know what's right for me. But what I do know is any relationship that you're supposed to be in, you're supposed to be happy. And that's the only way that thrives. Because if you don't, you're going to seek that happiness somewhere. You're either going to implode, or you're going to go out and find that happiness somewhere. So this is where you have, why, I guess, what is it, cheating, you know what I'm saying, or infidelity, as you would say it, is on an all-time high. Because people are in these situations because they feel obligated, but you're obligated to yourself as well, which is why you go off and do that. And then those who try to fight it, this is, people who are truly just unhappy. This is where suicide comes from. This is where people start self-medicating, getting, drinking and, doing extraordinary drugs and whatnot because they're trying to cope with being in the situation that they're in because they feel like they're trapped. You should not feel trapped in a relationship. Any relationship. You should not feel trapped. That's something that you're supposed to want to be, and it's supposed to just flow. Now, I know you can't pick your family members and stuff like that, but you do have a right to be around who you want around you. You get to pick the man you want to be with. You get to pick that energy. So pick wisely, but you have to have a different mindset. You got to look at sex, marriage, having babies. You need to look at that on a whole different level. It's way deeper. You gotta stop doing this willy-nilly shit when it comes down to sex and having babies. Y'all have to understand that is way more of a commitment than actual marriage. You having a child, like I said, you are completely connected forever. That baby connects you with that person forever. Ever. So you should be more scared of sex than marriage, fellas. You should be a little bit more, selective with your seed. You know what I'm saying? Than signing, or saying I do. Because again, you can undo the I do. You can't undo your baby. Because once they're here, they're here. There's no taking that back. There is no divorce. There's no annulment of a child. You don't get to do that. Once they're here, they're here. Think about that. Parents, I'm going to say this as well. I want y'all to start remembering yourselves when you were kids. For some reason, I said this to my mom once before an argument. We were talking about my little brother. He was having an issue, and she wanted me to give him some advice. But I felt like the way I had to give him the advice wasn't the way that she wanted me to. She kind of wanted me to dictate to him what he should do, and I was trying to tell her that ain't cool because, I'm not his parent. I'm his sister, and what she wanted me to tell him not to do, I was doing. So that wasn't going to be effective, regardless of how right I would have been, he wasn't going to want to hear that. So I was trying to explain that to her, and she just felt like, well, you're his older sister, and you should just be able to tell him, and yada, yaka, yaka, you. You know what I mean? And I had said to her, and I think I offended her, sorry, Mom, but I pretty much told her, I said, Mom, you seem to be kind of disconnected, where children are concerned. Like you're coming from, a parental or maternal, perspective, which is why you feel like, I should tell him because I'm older than him. But as his technical peer, even though I'm older than him, he's technically my peer. He's my sibling, so for me, again, I like, even with my platform, The information I give has to be effective. I don't just like talking. Like, I don't just get on here just to talk. You know, the whole point of whatever it is I'm saying, it needs to be effective. It needs to, it needs to hit home. So whatever I say to him, if I really want him to listen to what I'm saying, I have to be honest with him and come in from my perspective. You know, I pretty much told him he can do whatever it is he chooses. He just has to understand the consequences to come along with that. So instead of me telling him, no, you can't do that, alright, bruh. Now if you do this, just understand that you gotta do X, Y, and Z to make sure you're straight. If you can't do X, Y, and Z, then you're gonna have to listen to them because you're gonna get in trouble. Doesn't matter wrong, right, or indifferent. You live in their house, so you have to follow their rules. So how about make your life easier? That's how I felt I had to explain that to him. Not, I'm your older sister, you need to listen to what I'm saying. Mommy and them said you need to chill, so you need to chill. Yeah, nah. So, like I said, I told her, she wasn't thinking from a child's perspective. She wasn't thinking about how he was actually going to receive the advice that I was going to give him. We got to start thinking like that when you're dealing with your kids. It's not just do as I say and not as I do. You have to understand where they are. And you have to make sure that you explain to your children, so they can get it. So they can understand. It's levels to this. So we have to do better. Okay? Definitely have to do better. We got to make better choices. You have to seek your own happiness. That's another thing. You cannot be with somebody. As a matter of fact, Jennifer, you had said that you had posted something like this, I think last week of some sort. I don't care what type of, status you are. If you're not happy with you getting with somebody is not going to make you happy. Not at all. Happiness starts here. Period. Your spouse, significant other, your friends, whomever else that you choose to bring into your universe, they are just an amplification of that happiness. They're just supposed to add to that. They're not supposed to be it. Because when you base your happiness on something or someone, you are doomed to fail. Because humans, we're flawed. Bob Marley said, you have to just get used to the fact that people are going to hurt you. But you got to find the right people to suffer for. So people are always going to disappoint you. From the best person, I don't care how great and amazing and positive they are, there's going to be somebody out there that's going to disagree with something that they done did. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? I'm one of the nicest people in the world. Flawed and all, but I'm one of the nice people in the world. It's not very hard to get along with me. But guess what? There are people out there that don't like me. There are literally people out there that literally got an issue with me. It's baffling, yeah, but it's the truth. So no one is exempt. No one is exempt from that. So you can't base your happiness on another person because they're going to guaranteed to disappoint you. No matter how minor or, or large, they're going to do that. Material things. If you basing your happiness on things, having a house and a car and, having money and being able to do this and being able to do that. If your happiness is based off that, all it has to do is be taken away and you're done. So you can't base your happiness on that. Material things can be taken from you. Unless you're sovereign, you don't own shit. Sorry. Your house, that car, the clothes on your back, you don't own none of that. Get in the wrong situation, all that can be taken from you. Your car can get repoed. Your house can be repossessed. Your assets can be taken under the right circumstances. So that shouldn't be the center of your or the catalyst for your happiness. This is why you have some people who are considered poor or live in poverty, but they're happy as hell. As a matter of fact, most of the people who commit suicide are people with money, people with status. Think about it. We've been depressed and, you know what I'm saying, underpaid, all types of problems. Most people who are in poverty don't kill themselves. They die because of disease, you know what I'm saying, lack of nutrition, you know what I'm saying, they can't feed themselves. They're eating the wrong thing, so they, end up, diabetes, high blood pressure, all that stuff. I haven't heard or I've seen any stats where, people that live in poverty are killing themselves because they're in poverty. Living in the worst, situations. But they still won't bring themselves to end their lives. As hard as it is. Then you got people like Robin Williams, a comedian, someone who spent his life making people laugh, offed himself. So it ain't got nothing to do with that. That money, none of that's going to bring you happiness. And now I'm not telling you not to be successful. I'm not trying to say that. I'm going to be successful. You know what I'm saying? My media company is going to be popping. Definitely. But that's not what's going to make me happy. See, I'm happy right now, right here, with my tablet, on Facebook, reading off, you know what I'm saying, my little chicken scratch off my piece of paper. I'm happy doing this right here. I do not feel unaccomplished. I do not feel like I'm less than because I'm not on, on a official, joint on TV or part of a network yet. I'm happy where I am. I'm happy with, the progress that I'm making and the people that I'm touching. I'm happy right here. Does that mean that I don't have more ambition? Of course. Of course I want to grow. Of course I'm going to grow. But I am still happy where I am. You're supposed to love yourself through the whole process. So we got to do better. That's the only way our families are going to be better. That's the only way our community is going to be better. That is the only way that we are going to get out of the ruts that we're in. That's the only way that we're going to heal these generational cycles. Peace, everybody that's coming in. We got to make better choices. You have, and it starts with self. It starts with self. You have to love up on yourself. You have to understand who you are. Understand your energy. And once you do that, you're going to attract the right person. I promise you that. I promise you. It all starts with you. When you're not right, when you're wrong, you're going to attract wrong. When you're right, you'll attract right. Period. And in understanding that the act of sex is a bond that you cannot, that is a really bond that you cannot, especially after you have kids, that's a bond you can't break. That bond is stronger than a piece of paper. Understand that. The person that you choose, you should want to be with them regardless. That's the person that you should be with. That's the person that's going to stay, that's going to fight, that's going to make sure that regardless of what y'all go through, you're going to stick together. Y'all going to grow together. That's the type of person that you need in your life. Because again, like I said, we are not the same people that we are year in year. And if you are, that's the problem. If you still think the same way you did 10 years ago, that's a problem. So much has changed in 10 years. You have experienced so much in 10 years. There should be some type of growth in your perspective. After 10, you know what I'm saying? You're not the same person. So the people that you're with, they have to, love the person that you're growing into. you have to love the person that they're growing into. It's a compromise. Okay, like, well, these, I'm getting to like this over here, and this is more what's interesting me, and, this person might not really be feeling a little bit. All right, well, let me go off and, do this by myself, and let them be able to do this or whatever. But then also, you might have something, well, let me see what this is about. Let me still support. Like, that's how that's supposed to work. But you're only going to do that with the right person. And this can't be forced. This, what I'm saying? Again, this is not, there's no book, that you can read, to figure that out. That person has to want to do that. You have to want to do that. Can't nobody make you. Not your God, not the law. You can follow the law, again, where that piece of paper, is concerned. But when it really comes down to what your relationship is based on, there is nothing making you stay or go but you. Period. Your choice. So if you're in a situation, like if you're married, and you're unhappy, you need to reevaluate some things. Again, I can't tell you what to do in your relationship and how to do it. But you need to reevaluate some things, because you're supposed to be happy. You're a union. I do not believe that your God wanted you to be miserable. Because most religious people say that God sends you your husband. Well, I would like to think that your God is not going to send you somebody that makes you miserable year in and year out. I don't think that's a cool God to do that. So you got to reevaluate that. Even with children. Y'all supposed to take care of your kids regardless. Doesn't matter what y'all got going on. Your baby should be straight. Y'all should both, be cool with taking care of your child. Doesn't matter how that works. Again, it takes a village. So everybody around your child should be on point. And the only way you're going to be on point is if you're happy. That's the only way you're going to teach your children how to be happy. You got to show them. You can't tell them. Happiness is not something, honestly, that you can describe. It's something that you feel. It's something that you see. It's an energy that you give off. Like, I don't have to tell you guys, honestly, I don't have to tell you guys that I'm happy. You can see it. When I take pictures, if you see me in person, you know that I'm a happy person. Just like when you see a happy child. You can have children can be in the worst situations. But how you know if they're affected or not is how they behave. If you see a happy child, doesn't matter what you got going on. I be telling some of my friends this sometimes. They be feeling, they go through things with their significant others or whatever. They really worry, about if their child is happy because they know the extent of what's going on, the problems and the lacks here and what's going on and all that stuff like that. So, they don't want their children to feel that way. So they feel like, maybe I'm nah. All you got to do is look at your child. They will tell you. That their whole energy will let you know how they're being affected about what's going around about them. Period. This is why I say it depends. Like I said, I grew up in a dysfunctional household from birth until 9. But from my perspective, it wasn't dysfunctional. I know it was dysfunctional now because I'm an adult and I know what was going on. But at the time, you couldn't have told me that I lived in that type of household. I didn't know. I was happy. My mom made sure I was good. And even my, the people that were living with me, they acted right around me. Even dealing with the demons that they were dealing with. That didn't, affect me too tough. At least in a negative light. It affected me, but not in a negative light. So you gotta understand that. You gotta think differently. You gotta do things different. Your bodies are sacred. Both men and women. I know we talk about the woman a lot in our wombs. Well, man, your seed is sacred too. You shouldn't be spreading that everywhere. I know you got 1 million sperm coming out you, but that don't mean that you got to be spilling that everywhere. That's godly seed right there. You know what I'm saying? That brings life. So you need to respect that. If you respect sex, you'll respect marriage. Because that's the problem. No one respects it anymore. It's a tool to get where you want to be now. Or it's mandatory, you know what I'm saying, to validate you. There's a lot of women getting married, they feel like, they're not real women, or, you know what I'm saying, they failed in life because they're not married. That's not what that's supposed to be about. Because that's your thought process is probably one of the reasons why you don't have one. Because you're getting into it for the wrong situation. A marriage does not validate you on either side. You validate you. And you bring value to a marriage. That's how that's supposed to work. So, that is my perspective on marriage. Sex is marriage. So, if you're not willing to make a commitment to this person, if you're not willing or can even see yourself with this person, you know what I'm saying, for the long haul, you don't see this person being a good role model to your future children or any of that, you shouldn't be having sex with them. We have year of accountability. We have to discipline ourselves. We have way too much sex for all of the wrong reasons. Sex is like a drug now. You know what I'm saying? It's something that we use, honestly, to help with our, you know what I'm saying? We actually self-medicate ourselves with sex. What's the difference between, drinking your problems away or smoking your problems away? People try to sex their problems away. And you can't do that. So we got to do better. Got to make different choices. That is what's going to get us the unity that we need. That's going to fix, like I said, these generational curses. Because this is taught behavior. You didn't come to this earth like that. Your surroundings, you know what I'm saying, is what got us like that. So we have to change that. We have to do better. Once you know better, you do better. And this is not to beat you up about your mistakes either. I don't want to make people to think that I'm, trying to judge you or say you just all fucked up. Nah. At some form of fashion, we all fucked up. What we gonna do about it now? Now that we know we fucked up, what we gonna do to change that? What can we do as individuals in your own life to change it? Because you are the director of your life. No one chooses your life. No one creates your life but you. I don't care how you feel about that, because it's a fact. All about choices. Just like staying is a choice, leaving is a choice, getting into it is a choice. It doesn't matter what governs your choice, whether it be, your perspective on religion or, you've been through something. Regardless of what the catalyst is, it is still a choice. A choice. So we have to start making better choices. That is what's going to change the dynamics of our homes. Which is going to be, the catalyst to changing how we relate as a community. We gotta get back to that. All right. So I love y'all. I appreciate y'all giving me your time and your energy. I hope that something that I said helps somebody. Again, I'm not here. I'm not no love doctor or none of that, but I do know a lot about human behavior and how we relate to one another. I also know what I've experienced. I've been in relationships, where the other person was only there because of what I can give to them. And then once I got with them and they left, they realized what my energy was about and how they fucked that up. Every man that I've ever been with. It is what it is. It's that energy. So, get that energy right. Attract the right people. You ain't got to worry about that piece of paper. That's what you want to do that. Cool, all of that. Because, it's great for the government, when you're doing stuff. All of that. Finances, all that good stuff. Whatever it is that you feel like you need to do to, to secure your family, do that. But make sure it's right. Don't beat yourself up either way. Do not determine your life on that piece of paper. Please don't do that. Don't do that. All right, I'm going to let y'all go. Hit that share button. Share. Share. Because we got to make Ampspiration go viral. I love you guys. Enjoy your night. Oh, I will see you guys on, I have to get used to doing this. Make sure y'all tune in tomorrow to my girl Nexus Ani Orulu. She's on Voices Radio. She comes on at 6:30 p.m. in the Voices Radio LLC group. Make sure you tune into her tomorrow night. It's going to be awesome. She has great information. She has great interviews as well. And we also have collaborated our brands. And on Thursday, we have Divine Feminine Discussion, where we talk about, different topics that have to deal with females and, even our community. But, we're really, pushing this unity with them amongst women so we can do this together as a whole. Because, contrary to popular opinion, women, we're the ones that need to get this right. We are the mothers. We are giving birth. We give birth to the world. So when we get right, the world will be right. I know that's a big, a big, tall, I guess, weight on our shoulders, but it is what it is. That's what we were built for. We were chosen to be able to give life. So we got to do that. Okay? So, love y'all. Thursday, Divine Feminine Discussion. Tomorrow, Voices LLC. Make sure you're there. Voices Radio, 6:30. And all of the shows you're going to be here at 9 p.m. to get all this inspiration. Love y'all. Enjoy your night. Peace.